There are a few dimensions of it. Firstly, the first element of food security is that there must be enough volume. And given things like climate change, land stress, how do you cope with changing supply conditions? The second part of it is with food safety. And it is not just all food production is good, it must be good enough for human consumption. And the third part of it is with transport costs. Because as energy prices increase, your cost of transportation, which is typically between 5 and 30% of total CIF price, will vary. So these are the three possible things that can create systemic shock in the system. For instance, in South America this year, our farms there are showing that because of increased cloud cover, we are getting actually 10% less yield. And sometimes having too much rain and having too little rain is equally bad. So it is not just the absolute direction and trend of weather change, it is also the violence of the volatility. So that's basically the things that we worry about. It is the public sector's role to determine land use, because that's their primary role, to determine agricultural policy. It is the micro players' role, whether it's on the supply side or the demand side, to make sure that there's systemic efficiency in the way in which we conduct the business. There must be efficient price discovery, there must be lowest cost between source and market, and there must be fairness to allow returns and reinvestments amongst all parts of the chain. So that's our role. There is one part missing between national governments making policies and micro firms coping with their business environment. And that is missing in Asia because there is no industry champion. So in some projects like the Jilin Food Zone that the Singapore government has done, I see the potential for them to also play the role of being the industry champion to close the income gap between Chinese farmers and, say, European farmers, and close the yield gap between Chinese farms and, say, South American farms. So that's where the abutment between public and private sectors become a bit blurred, but it's only when that friction occurs that you will have resolution and decision. So I think it's a good thing.